5-0 now?
5-0, man. 5-0.
All right, 5-0. That's a great place to be. Let's do a little bit more clapping for 5-0. Come on, folks. What do you want to be 0-5? Come on. Coach Brew, same question every week. Good, the bad, and the ugly.
Good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, anytime you get a win, that's got to go in the good column, right? So, really excited about that. Ready to, embark on a district run here and able to get that first one under our belt. That's always a good thing. I think we played well on both sides of the ball at times, and got the first win of the district slate. So that's always a good thing. The bad, I think the
first half.
What's that?
First half.
Offensively for sure. Defensively, I thought we played okay in the first half until the last drive where we did some uncharacteristic things there and gave up a score right before half. But it is what it is. Guys regrouped at halftime, and when I got home that night, my wife said, "How ugly was that locker room talk? Like, did you need extra blood pressure medication that night?" And I said, "No, I really, it wasn't like that at all. I mean, I was very calm. I just put it all out there on the table to them. I was as real with them as I could possibly be. Look, we weren't playing up to the standards that we hold ourselves to, and I needed them to do that in the second half. We wanted to try to get a win, and thankfully that's what took place. As far as the ugly is concerned, I didn't like at the end of the game where we couldn't get 2 plays run without a penalty. Whether it was on us or whether it was in Scotlandville. That game should have faded off into the fourth quarter with the clock running and up 3 scores. But that wasn't able to happen for one reason or the other. So I didn't like that part of it. I didn't like putting the ball on the ground. I thought that was ugly, the first drive of the game. So those are things that we've got to clean up. And we will. I try to tell you guys all week long, hey, look, I understand what Scotlandville's record is, but, it's, how they're going to play against us. They always do, right? And so, but that rivalry is now Dunsky, right? They're not going to be in 5A anymore, and we're no longer playing. So the old Zachary Scotlandville thing is over with. That's where we are right now. 1-0 in district, and that's a good one.
All right, so Casey Brewerton, Casey, your question about him at the half, I can tell you in the radio booth, we were all saying to ourselves, thank God I'm not Jack Lava tonight, right. When they had to interview him as he walked off the field. So he must have really got some composure between that short trip from the end zone to the locker room.
I guess so. It is what it is.
All right, Coach Brew, while we're on the district, a lot of district games this week. Where do you want to start? This week's opponent, Liberty, took on Catholic. You want to go there and kind of take some around the district?
So that was a Thursday night game last week. So I actually had an opportunity, Casey and I, just what I'm sure she wanted to do on a Thursday night, was go watch more football, But Casey and I went to Olympia Stadium in Baton Rouge and watched Liberty and Catholic play. Liberty is certainly better than they have been in the past. They've got a new football coach. His name's Jimmy Zachary. Jimmy was the head coach at Opelousas, won a state championship there. We had a chance to play against them last year at Opelousas, and we had a really tight game with them. So I think he does a really good job. Liberty is certainly better than they have been. I think the final score of that game was like 34, 16 maybe. So it was a decent little showing for them. Catholic's very good, as always. But what I was impressed with them, they play hard and physical. I was telling one of our coaches this week, what you see from Liberty that's a little bit different is the way they play the game. They play the game like they're used to winning, if that makes sense. Like you don't see them make a big mistake and all hell breaks loose and everyone's upset. They just get ready and they go play the next play. I was very impressed with that, watching them watching them play. They didn't get real bent out of shape about it, things that went wrong, right? And that's the mark of a football team that's coached to carry themselves that way. So I was impressed. As far as Woodlawn and Central were concerned, I think Woodlawn was winning that game 21-20 going in the fourth quarter. Yep. So it must have been a heck of a football game over there. I don't know where the game was played, to be honest with you. But tight game, and then Central pulled away in the fourth quarter. It must have probably, it sounds like it was a lot like our game. So Central is seasoned, they're coming off a state title run. They believe they're going to win close football games, and that's what took place. But all the way around, the district foes that we have obviously played pretty well this week across the board, and that's a good thing. That's only going to help us when it's time to get to the postseason of playing some good football teams and getting us ready to go.
All right, so teams we played in non-district, do you know how they did last week? I'm thinking PowerPoints.
Opelousas lost by 1 point to Natchitoches Central, 5-18. They lost 31-30. Almost got us a win. Plaquemine won. I don't remember who they beat though, but Plaquemine won. Acadiana won. Karen Crow won. So we got some good power points there. Those three, and then Central and Catholic both won. So we have 5 power points on the week. So if our pre-district teams can continue to do that, we'll continue to rack up some pretty good power points heading into the postseason. A little scheduling update for next year. Got a bunch of that. We're so close to finishing up our schedule now. We were actually scheduled to play Opelousas again in week 5. That coach and I talked about not playing that, even though we had a contract for the next 2 years. We're not going to play that game. I did speak with Coach Oliver at Santa Maw, and we are locked into a game with Santa Maw for the next 2 years. So I'm excited about it. I told you I wanted to play down there in the pit. We're going down there in 26. Coach Crowder cut his teeth there as a first-year coach under Coach Oliver, so I know he's probably super excited about getting a chance to go down there, scarf down a few bowls of jambalaya before that game, and get ready to go. And they'll have plenty of it, I can promise you. So as of right now, we go Plaquemine week 1, Acadiana week 2, Madison Prep week 3. We're still off week 4 right now. I'm still looking for one. And then Santa Maw week 5. So I'm excited about that. We're super close to getting that schedule finalized. I got Coach McNamara on that, calling some of the teams down in the Big Easy, trying to get us a week 4. So I feel like we're close to that.
All right, you called him out, Coach McNamara, our Farm Bureau player. Coach of the week.
Coach of the week.
Go ahead and introduce our coach and our player, Coach.
Yeah, really excited. Connor Ship, our H-back, will be our Farm Bureau player of the week this week. Connor is one of those kids that I've had a chance to watch grow up in the Zachary football program, watching him play as a 7th and 8th grader at Northwestern, and then 4 years now at Zachary. Connor's one of those guys that you just love having in the program. He epitomizes what you want as far as work ethic, as far as the way he carries himself off the field, the way certainly he carries himself in the classroom. He's a super student. And just a kid that's going to work really hard day in and day out to try to get better. And it took him all the way till now as a senior to be a starter, and he has put the time and the effort in, and so you'd love to have 20 of those guys every year, man, because he's a lot of fun to coach, and of course his position coach, Coach McNamara, new to the program this year. But not new to me. Obviously, we coached together several years back at Livonia when he and his wife and his mother-in-law moved to Livonia right after Katrina. And we spent a couple years together there and kind of, always talked about trying to coach together again. And so having the opportunity to hire him this year to come up and coach coach football and some wrestling. We're certainly really excited for that, for everything that he's going to bring to the table and already has brought to the table. A couple of new residents here in Zachary. He and his wife Yvette moved here over the summertime. Along with Yvette's mom, and so we're really excited about having them. They've got a son, Cooper, who's a freshman in college. He's playing baseball at Spring Hill in Mobile. So, we're super excited about adding him to the staff. He brought a lot to the table already.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Liberty. Offense, defense, special teams, and other things going on in the Zachary universe. Sound good, Brew?
Sounds great.
All right.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, Crowder. All right, we are back. This week's opponent, another home opponent. We've got Liberty. Coach Brew, let's dig in. You mentioned their coach, state championship at Opelousas. Offense, defense, special teams. What are we going to be looking at this Friday night?
Got a talented quarterback. He gets out of the pocket. He can certainly hurt you with his legs. They don't throw it a huge amount of time, but they when they do, it's off of play action, which is pretty effective for them. You're going to see them get in some double tight, two tight ends, and they'll run it right at you. Thank you. The running back is very good. Big kid, 210 pounds, comes downhill, some good sized linemen. I think they do a really good job offensively. They can put you in some predicaments with how big and physical they are. Defensively, I was super impressed with their corners. Very athletic, talented kids back there. Which then gives them the ability to do some things against you in the box, right? Because they got talented corners out there. So it's going to be a test for us. I'm excited about it. They scored 70 against Boalissa. They scored 40 against Southern Lab, beat them. Lost a 1-point game to Letcher. So you're seeing some things they're doing. It's impressive. It is, and Jimmy's doing a great job over there, and I'm expecting some good things from him, without question.
So, from a personal standpoint, Coach Brew, in August, you and I talked about this season, and correct me if I'm wrong. In 7-on-7, we had one loss this year.
Yeah, one loss the whole summertime.
You guys listening back there?
Yeah, the old Liberty Patriots took us down this summer. So one loss we had. And that just shows you they are super talented athletically. And you walk into that game and you limp around, you're not gonna like the outcome, right? And so that's one thing that we're talking about right now. Really are. By the way, Warren. We have a guest in the audience tonight that certainly needs a little bit of recognition. You know, week in and week out, we have these tremendous highlight videos that come out on game day. And I get calls from across the state, buddies of mine that are coaches and everybody, and they always ask me, you know, like, Brew, who does y'all's video stuff? That stuff is incredible, man. And it really is. I mean, every week it is awesome. Every week it gets shown for the first time right after our pregame meal is over with, and our guys just go absolutely nuts in there. It's so much fun to watch. But the creator of those videos, and the creator of the videos for quite some time now, is with us tonight. Mr. Kevin Scott is over here to my left. Mr. Kevin's son, Parker, played for us back in the day. He's playing college ball now. And, you know, Kevin just loved being around the program so much that when Parker left, we said, well, you just can't set the standard like that and walk away, for God's sakes. I mean, like, we got, so he agreed to do it for one more year, and then one more year, and then another year, and one more year, right? So he's awesome. He produces some quality videos that I know our community takes great pride every time they watch it. I know our kids love it. So, Kevin, thank you so much for everything you do, man. We can't thank you enough. We certainly appreciate it. All right, buddy.
All right, Coach Brew, we got some other sports things going on this week. I think volleyball is on the road most of this week. This Saturday, cross country, they've got the big Bronco cross country stampede at Port Hudson.
Right.
And middle school will run after. What else we got? Talk to me about freshmen.
Our freshman team. Our freshman team played West Feliciana's junior varsity team last night and got a good win there up the road in Baines. So I was very proud of them. Tomorrow, our JV team will host Liberty's JV team at 6 o'clock in the Corral. So a couple of hopefully good football wins, and then homecoming game on Friday night. Our volleyball team, I was looking at the power rankings today. I think we're ranked 18th in the state right now. So the playoffs got to be starting here pretty soon, maybe another week or two, and they'll be ready to roll. So we've got all sorts of stuff going on. We're full blown in the middle of fall now, and all four of the sports that are going on in the fall are getting after it right now. So it's a great time. Great time.
Yep. Swim team, got to mention Coach Pivito. Swim team's got their...
Yep. Yeah. Julie Pivito, our swim coach, she gives us updates. You know what? I'm going to tell you, the one thing I hate about being the athletic director and the head football coach, the only time I don't like it, in the fall, it's difficult for me when swimming is always on Saturday and cross country is always on Saturday. So it's just difficult for me to be able to get out there and see them as much as I want to, just because we're working all day long on Saturday, right? Trying to get ready for the next game the next week. So certainly very proud of our athletes. Certainly, those are two head coaches that have been around Zachary now for a while. Julie was an all-state swimmer here, and she's in our Hall of Fame, and she's been the swim coach for a long, long time. That's Julie Pivito, and then Julie Fink came to us. I think she's been with us like 6 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Incredible.
Yeah.
When I got the job here, I think there were 7 people on the cross-country team, and we're up to 50 or 60 now. So she's doing a good job with that, and good luck to both of those clubs this weekend.
All right, Coach Brew, I've had some questions, and so maybe you can kind of expand on this. For those of you who are not going to the game, but you need to go to the game, we have the radio broadcast.
Right.
So you can watch that on YouTube. You can watch this on YouTube. Can you tell me a little bit about Inside Bronco Football? I've had questions about that, and I thought
you're talking about the podcast.
Yes.
Right. Inside
can
the Z.
You talk about
Inside
that?
the Z. Yep. So we have another new coach on staff. His name is Scott Pellegrin. He coaches our safeties. And Scott was the head coach at Woodlawn before he came and joined us here. And I had been seeing when he was the defensive coordinator at East Ascension, and then he was the head coach at Woodlawn. I kept up with the podcast that he did there, and I thought they did a really, really good job with it. So when we hired him, he and I talked over the summertime, and I said, look, I've been in Zachary a while now, going on 12 years. The majority of our staff's been here a long time. I think we have things to talk about that maybe people will be interested in listening to, right? It's a little less formal than maybe the Brew Show is. It's a little, it's just a little different. It's we have him bring in, every week he'll bring in a player, and they'll talk about some things, maybe not X's and O's football-wise, maybe just some different things he wants to talk to them about, and just let them be a kid, explain who they are and what they're doing. And then same thing with the coach. He'll bring one of our assistant coaches in, and they talk about maybe some things that they've encountered in the past as a coach and what they're trying to do as far as their future is concerned, and how things are going for them at the Z right now. And then they close the show up every week with story time with Coach Brew, right? And he will usually give me a topic that he wants to talk about or have me talk about, and then I'll try and I'll just tell some stories that I've experienced over the years in relations to that particular topic, right? Last year we talked about family and what our families mean to us on the outside, and how you're able to give quality time to your family while still being a coach and spending the time that we have to spend being a coach, right? We've talked, one segment was on all the great quarterbacks we've had here. One segment was on, actually two different segments were on all the great receivers we've had here because we've had so many, right? So that was pretty cool. That was being able to talk about that stuff and talk about kids we had in the program 10, 12 years ago, and getting a chance just to remember those guys and talk about them for a while. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a super laid back setting, and it's nothing live like this. If he brings up something that, I don't like that. That doesn't need to go on tape. Cut. He can edit it and do whatever he wants to do, right? So, but no, I think it's been good, man. I've had a lot of buddies of mine, guys that are coaches, whatever, that'll call me and, listen to this and learn this, or I didn't realize you did it this way, whatever, something like that just hopefully we can put some things out there and help people as much as we can, and give people an idea of who we are as people, not just coaches that you see out there on Friday night, right? Who we are as people and what our program is based on.
All right, so folks, it's on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
If you want to go to back videos, I guess they call them, back videos, they're there. Like I said, I got some questions this week. They were like, this is great. All positive, Coach Brew, but
awesome.
I just thought it'd be great for us to promote that as well.
Definitely.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, Coach McNamara, our Farm Bureau Coach of the Week, and then after him, shortly thereafter, Connor Shipp with 2 P's, Connor.
That's it.
Our Farm Bureau Player of the Week. We'll take a break.
Shipp had 1 P at the end of his name on our roster for 3 years. and at our parent meeting at the beginning of this year, Casey, my wife, was there helping Miss Diane and Miss Yvette. They were taking roll at the beginning, and we got home, and Casey said, Shipp has 2 P's at the end of it. What? Are you kidding me? Yeah, your roster's been wrong for 3 years. So the next day when I'm calling roll in our team meeting, I said, Shipp, can I ask you a question? Yes, sir. I said, I've spelled your name wrong for 3 years now. You didn't think that maybe you needed to tell me that I was spelling it incorrect? I'm not worried about all that, because, all right, hey, man, whatever. But we got it right now, baby. Shipp with 2 P's. Get it straight.
Shipp with 2 P's. We'll be back in a second. All right, we are back with our Farm Bureau Coach of the Week, Coach McNamara. Coach McNamara, we actually have a question from the crowd to start.
All right.
It is from Coach Ben McHugh of the wrestling team. What is your favorite part about living in Zachary so far?
Just how welcoming the community's been.
Gotta get that mic tight.
Just how welcoming the community's been from the time I got here. People helping move in and everything, willing to go out to dinner, take us to dinner, and showing us around. Just the community's been real welcoming from the start.
And where would you prefer to go eat? Coach McHugh says there's a special place for you.
I don't know.
Country Kitchen?
Oh, yeah. Go to Jets a lot. I do go to Jets a lot.
All right, get close to the mic, Coach McNamara.
Go to
All
Jets.
right, so Coach McNamara, before we jump too far in, anybody out there you'd like to recognize?
My wonderful, beautiful wife is sitting in the audience with us, Miss Yvette.
All right, Miss Yvette, and she works in Zachary Schools now as well.
She does. She works for the school board as well, the main office.
All right, tell us about Connor.
Connor has been a blessing. When you get here and you're a first year coach, you're looking for you're trying to feel your way through, and when you have a senior that is a leader in the group, it makes your transition a whole lot easier. And he's got in, and when I'm learning the playbook, trying to get everything, he's standing right next to me, walking me through it for the first day, just like I was coaching everybody else. So having Ship next to me as a senior in the program has been a blessing, that's for sure.
All right, so you coach in H-backs, but I understand that you coached on the dark side. Now, let me rephrase that. You previously coached the defense.
I have. I've coached
So
defense for about 20 years.
transition, huh?
I coached defense for maybe about 15 out of my 20 years of coaching. And when Coach Brew called me to come up here, he gave me an option, and I told him whatever he wanted me. He said, "Good, I'm gonna put you on offense." All right, no problem. We'll make this work. So I had previously worked with Coach Langlois when at Livonia, so I had a working relationship with him as well. So it was a pretty easy fit. I just came in and sat down with Coach Kenny, and we rolled with it. It was pretty easy. Coach Davis helped me out a lot as well.
All right, so Coach, you were with Coach Brewerton at Livonia. Get me from New Orleans. We're not going to go to Northwestern, okay? We're going to start in the New Orleans area, get me to Livonia, back to Shop. Do the circle for me.
It's a long track.
Close.
We started coaching at Chalmette prior to Katrina. Spent 2 seasons there. My third season is when Katrina hit. I ended up going to Georgia for 1 year after Katrina, and then my wife wanted to come back more local, and I wasn't ready to go back into the area of Chalmette, so we ended up going with Coach Brew at Livonia, and I spent 2 seasons, I think, with him out there as his defensive coordinator, his first 2 seasons there, and then family wanted to move back home to the New Orleans area, so I ended up going to East Jefferson for 3 years, Higgins for 1, and then I was back at Chalmette for, I think it was 13 seasons since then. And now my first year back in Zachary.
All right, while you were in Chalmette, you got the opportunity to coach Cooper. Tell us about Cooper.
My son?
Yeah, your son.
Okay, I'm making sure that's what we're talking about. Just making sure that's what we're talking about. My son, he's a blessing. He's a real hard worker kid. Does whatever you ask him to do. He's never been the best on the team, but always been one of the hardest working on the team. And it's paid off for him. And he's having a really good fall up in Spring Hill playing baseball up there. So proud of him.
All right. So we've done the journey. We talked about football. McHugh disappeared. He's probably at the bar. One of your other talents is coaching wrestling. Talk about wrestling.
When I first got into wrestling, the AD walked in and asked me what I knew, and I said, I know very little. He said, good, you're going to manage it. And I'm going to have an assistant coach teach it. And I said, okay, if that's what you want. And I got in there, and for the last 10 years of doing it, it's been a sport that I've really taken to. I love the physicality of it and the individualism of it. You're one-on-one with another person, and there's nobody else to blame for it. You know, if you're not man enough to beat them, then it's going to show. If you're not putting the work in on a daily basis, and it's absolutely going to show when you get on the mat, and you're not going to be victorious. So it works hand in hand when it comes to football as well, because you know you need to move a human being. So if you're playing O-line, D-line, or a linebacker trying to tackle somebody, and you need to learn how to move a human that doesn't want to be moved. And so that's watching wrestling, and the athleticism and the commitment and drive that wrestlers have to be successful on the mat is amazing to watch those kids go through that.
All right, so now you've spoken mainly about male wrestling, but LHSAA has recently put in female wrestling, and you had quite the program going at Chalmette. How many girls did you have out? How did you do your last year at Chalmette with the girls?
Last year, we ended up the season with 18 girls on our roster, which was second or third biggest in the state. We were very successful as a program. We had one girl that finished as a state champion, which would have been the first ever state champion, boys or girls, at Chalmette High School. And then we had, we finished as a team, we finished third in girls for the state championship.
So it's
very successful.
Not just for the boys. That's a pretty large girls team. Was that one of the bigger teams in the state?
Yeah, I want to say Baton Rouge Magnet might have had more than us, and Lafayette was close with us. But Chalmette, it was those three.
All right, back to football. You mentioned Connor Shipp with 2 P's. Tell me about some other guys you got in the H-backs room, and how you like coaching those guys.
Well, when I walked in, I have 3 seniors in the room with me. I have Connor Shipp, I have Tyler Franklin, who's another guy who gets some playing time for me. I have a kid who's been a baseball kid around here and came out for the first year as a senior this year, in Colin Walls. Funny story is I actually had a chance to coach both of his uncles when we were at Livonia. Both of his uncles played for me at Livonia. So when I walked in, I kind of had that in my bag for him. And then I have a sophomore as well, Ivory Johnson, who's doing really well for me in JV.
All right, so Coach Brew has kind of told this story, but I want you to tell the story about state championships and your history with state championships and Coach Brew.
Well, I went to the first one he had when he was at Livonia, and it wasn't successful. So I was told the next one I was not allowed to be in attendance. So when his first one at Zachary, I was not actually in the Superdome with him, but did make the after party afterwards. And then I've been on the sideline for all of the other ones, including the one with against West Monroe, where Chris Hilton catches the long pass. And Coach Brew's got a picture of me and my son Cooper on the sideline as Hilton passes us up for the end zone for that touchdown. So it's pretty special.
So he goes way, way back. All right, so here's the tough question. I asked you McHugh's question. I'll do the Zachary question again. Why is Zachary the greatest place you've ever coached?
Oh, that's tough so far. I'm just getting here, and Chalmette was special to me, so I will say that. But the fact that everybody's pulling in the same direction, from the administration to all of the coaches and all of the teachers. Everybody knows their role and is working toward the same goal of making us the best possible school system and athletic teams that we can be. So when you walk into a system like that, all you do is fall in line and make sure you're doing your part, and it's pretty special.
All right, last thing. Coach Brew got you to move up here. You guys obviously have a special relationship.
I do.
You've wanted to be coaching up here for a while, haven't you?
We have. Coach Brew's called me probably every other year, if not every year, and asked me if this was going to be the year we were moving. And I'd usually hand the phone to my wife, and she'd say, nope, not this year. And then the last couple of years, my son got into high school, and Yvette had told me that we could start looking up here, and my son told me he wanted to graduate with his friends at Chalmette, so that put us on hold for another 4 years. And then the minute I finished coaching wrestling last year, and it was Cooper's senior season, Brew gave me a phone call, said, "This is the year we're pulling this trigger and making this work." And I said, "Yeah, let's go ahead and figure this out." So we, once my wrestling season ended last year at Chalmette at the state championship, we got on the horn working this out.
All right. Anything else you want to pass along?
I'm good.
All right. Your Farm Bureau Coach of the Week, Coach McNamara. All right, we are back with our Farm Bureau Player of the Week, Connor Ship. All right, folks, you're not going to hear 14 tackles, 3 sacks, or 17 carries for 200 yards. But the reason 17 carries for 200 yards is this man right here. Connor Ship, he's an H-back. Where the ball goes, he goes, and he's basically leading and making it happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, get close to the mic now. Connor, is there anybody out in the audience that you would like to recognize?
We got all the boys in the back there. We got Brian White back there, I see you. We got Tyson Kill back there. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, so he's calling out his teammates. All right, folks, I love this. So far this year, it has not let me down once. Connor Ship, everybody listen up. Connor Ship, what's your grade point average?
3.8.
One more time, real loud. What is your grade point average?
3.8.
3.8, come on. Guys, we got some great student athletes here. Connor, when you finish at Zachary, what would you like to do?
My plans are to go enlist in the Navy and become a nuclear engineer.
Enlist in the Navy and become a nuclear engineer. You don't hear that every day, folks. Connor, I was asked by someone in the audience for you to comment on picking up toilet paper. You want to elaborate on that story? Tell me what's going on there.
So, a lot of toilet paper ended up at my house.
At your house?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes. All over the trees, all in my yard. I was picking that up about 30 minutes before I came here.
Wow. He's always grinding, Coach. Tell me what it's like to block for those 2 running backs.
Oh, it's amazing. They set me up well, and all I gotta do is just hit them, you know?
You just got hit. Now, is it different blocking for the 2 of them? Is one of them different than the other, or is it pretty much the same job? Nail the guy that I'm supposed to hit.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same job, although sometimes Tyleek will run right into me, but that's all right. That's on me.
All right. Talk to me about the offensive line. You're basically another offensive lineman, right?
Yes, sir. I'm in that room like plenty. I'm with those guys probably about 75-80% of the time.
All right, so talk about that offensive line.
You know, we have maybe about 8 guys in there any given day, all day, every day, and yeah.
All right, good guys. All right, now, anything you want to say about some of the other H-backs that you work with?
I work with Tyler a lot. We have some great competition, especially during the summertime. We're going back and forth all the time.
All right, now Coach Brew, he brought this up about your first 3 years, they didn't know you had 2 P's in ship. I can tell you when I was in college, Coach said, I'm not going to learn your name till you're a junior. So you went freshman, sophomore, junior. You grew up in this program. What's it like to not be a starter all those years, and your senior year, you're so important to the team? What's that like?
I mean, so important is a stretch, but
Oh, look, man, those backs would say that you're pretty doggone important. But what's it like to go, to work so hard all those years? What, you started in 7th grade playing football?
yes, sir, 7th grade.
So your senior year, you're out there on the field. What's that like?
I mean, it's amazing. I work really hard. Yeah, I play. It's cool.
All right.
I don't know.
Just a tribute to hard work, folks. Sometimes it doesn't happen as a freshman. Sometimes it doesn't happen as a sophomore. But as a senior, obviously you're very important because you are player of the week this week. All right. You said you started playing football in 7th grade.
7th grade, yes, sir.
All right. You moved to Zachary from?
Iowa.
All right. Before Iowa, you lived in?
Indiana.
Before Indiana?
Ohio.
Ohio. This guy has bounced. So you're a traveling man.
Yes, sir.
So, of all the places you've lived, you like Zachary the best?
Yeah, it's close. It's close, but Zachary's pretty nice.
Okay, now the toughest question I ask everybody is, all right, it's your senior year. What is your favorite moment playing football at Zachary?
It's got to be my sophomore year with Dutchtown. We're in the playoffs, losing going into a rain delay, and we're all like, oh, no chance we even make it to the dome at all. Go back the next morning, demolished them. I'm telling you, our sideline is jumping, everything, and it was amazing. Going to the dome that year was awesome.
You were the second person in 2 weeks who's used the same story. That's okay. I mean, that was a huge game. Anything else you want to tell folks, Connor?
Hey, come out to this game. It's gonna be a big one. Every game's a big one, so just come out to this game and have a good time, man.
All right, your Farm Bureau Player of the Week, H-back, Connor Shell. Some good questions tonight.
Yeah?
Let's start with our Farm Bureau Player of the Week. Coach Brew, when's Ship gonna get the ball in the game?
Man, I don't know. Ship says he doesn't want to carry the ball. He just wants to block. So we're trying to just let him do what he loves to do. You know, you can never, ever expect him to catch any passes or run the ball at all. You know, he's just gonna keep blocking. That's all he's gonna do. Whole year.
Good plan. Good plan. All right, next question. I'm going to expand on this. Thank you, Hitman. I love this question, but we're going to expand on it. So, Coach Brew, your 2015 team, it plays the 2018 or the 2019 or the 2021 team. Who wins?
Wow. Ooh, man. That would be, man.
You're going to get in trouble how you answer this one.
Yeah. I'd rather tell a story about the 2015, if that's all right.
Go ahead and talk about the 2015.
So we're running the ball over and over and over again, and we're just killing it, right? And then about midway through the third quarter, somebody's pulling on my arm on the sideline, and I look down, and it is a young, bright-eyed, inquisitive-looking Camden Massengale. So that was 10 years ago, so what was he, 7? And I look down, and this is on the sideline of the Louisiana Superdome in the state finals. And he says, "What are you doing? Are we ever going to throw the football?" Nice. And I said, "Someone come get this kid away from me, for God's sake." And there he is with us with a quarterback uniform on to this day. It's a beautiful thing. That's other than winning the state championship that year in 15, that night, it's probably my favorite story. It cracks me up when I think about it all the time, right? Pure Camden Massengale, no doubt about it. Beautiful, beautiful. Those 4 teams you just brought up, whew, man, they so different but so similar, you know, as far as the championship mentality and I guess the 21 team's got to sit there and look at everybody else and go, hey, my ring says 15-0. What does yours say, right? If I was on that team, that's what I would say. I can promise you, right? So, I don't know. I'm not saying that's the best team. I'm just telling you they got that one little thing there that they could say that the other guys can't, right?
2019 would say we did it twice. And 2015 would say we were the first.
That's right.
I mean, those are all really good arguments.
Right. Depends on how much beer is consumed and how many of them are present when that's going on. I'm sure there's been a lot of talks about that, no doubt.
Okay, another very important question. What's your favorite jersey? If you say red.
Right. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I like the blue jersey a lot. I like it with the white pants. I think that looks really, really good. I'm actually, tomorrow, we're going to take a look at a little combination that's never, ever been seen before. And we're going to see how it looks. And maybe try and start a new homecoming tradition, right? I like... the black Jordans are really, really nice, man. I think our color combo is really, really good. It gives us a lot of different options there, and I like it a lot. And I really do. I guess I started that question too, but I don't know. I'm gonna tell you, in the state finals when we wore the blue pants and the white tops, I thought that looked really, really sharp as well. But I like the Ole Miss look when we go blue tops, white bottom.
Okay.
That'll be my answer.
Oh boy, it's homecoming week, Coach Brew. Has your house ever been rolled?
I live in Mississippi. So I drive like an hour and 10 minutes to work every day. So no, they don't. That's a long ways for them to find that house. So that's too far. Parents should never let their kids drive out that far in the middle of the night. No, I have not.
All right, so we
Let's
gotta
keep it that way. Go ahead.
We got a couple Central Catholic questions. Do you have a prediction on Central versus Catholic?
I haven't. I've seen Catholic play. I've not seen Central play yet, so I can't really make an informed decision on that. And it's hard to go against the Bears year in and year out. They've got the title right now, so until someone takes that from them, I guess you gotta go that way.
All right. Here's a question where players, put your fingers in your ears because it's 3 weeks away. Will Mayor McDavid make a friendly major with Mayor Evans for the Central game? I know it's 3 weeks away.
Right. I don't know. I know he made one with the current mayor. They're going to kick field goals at halftime, and whoever wins or whoever loses has to make a donation to the charity of the other's choice. I know that's already happened.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll do one with old Sid or not. You never know. Maybe they'll have like a Sid loves boudin balls from Tony Seafood.
Oh yeah.
He calls them Scooby Snacks. So maybe they'll have like a boudin ball eating contest or something. I don't know.
All right. This is a good question.
Crowder said, when is that contest?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, Coach Brew, we've got some great facilities, the stadium, press box. We just had the track redone. Is there anything on kind of your wish list for facility improvements or additions?
Well, I think because we are super limited as far as space is concerned, just we're landlocked as far as facilities and stuff like that are concerned. I would love to see us continue to try to purchase that property back to the north end of our stadium behind there. And at some point, maybe do a football operations building back there and do an indoor facility attached to that. Hey, you asked. I'm going to tell you what I would love to see. As far as our athletic department is concerned, I want you to think about what that would do as far as being able to have all of our sports, whatever season they're in. Inclement weather is not a problem. The baseball team, the softball team, the soccer teams, whatever. We're having rain, we're having lightning, whatever. We're able to get in there and do the things that we have to do. Right now, I'm having to have our football players get to school at 5:30 in the morning because we can't practice in the afternoons because of the heat. That would certainly alleviate some of those problems. And people would say, Brew, you're absolutely crazy. We can't do that. And I guess that was probably the same people that told me that we'd never win a state title over here, much less 4 of them. So, it is what it is. I think it's we have to take a look at those things. I can tell you they're starting to get erected around the state of Louisiana. They're everywhere in Texas. So, it's just something that we got. And look, I'm getting old, man. Maybe my career will be done by the time that stuff gets happening, or happens. But, I think at some point, you maybe take a look at those kinds of things and think about what that would do as far as the current building we're in with all of the different sports on campus that would be able to use that. I mean, our locker room alone could probably be made into 3 or 4 locker rooms. So we could have some different things taking place as far as that was concerned. But I think that's something that in the long run, I would love to see happening because God's not making any more land, you know what I mean? So we got to make sure if we're able to acquire some of it, that we got to try to do that, I would think.
All right, I caught you off guard last week with this one. Crazy things that players have told you as they come off the field to the sidelines. You got any new ones for us this week?
Yeah, I had a defensive tackle last week come off the field, and I asked him. He screwed the call up. He went the wrong way or whatever. And I asked him. I said, "What were you seeing right there? Why did you change what was sent in? I mean, what were you looking at?" He said, "I wasn't looking at anything." I said, "Why not?" And he said, "Well, I didn't have my glasses on." And I said, "What? What do you mean you didn't have your glasses on?" "I didn't have my glasses on. I couldn't see anything." I said, "So you're telling me that you're playing defensive line, there's an offensive lineman standing right in front of you, and you've got a call that telling you which way you're supposed to go, and you went the wrong way, and you're telling me it's because You didn't have your glasses on. That's the answer we're going with right there. Yes, sir. That's the answer. I said, well, there you go. I mean, what are you gonna? What am I doing? Chew his ass right there? I mean, like it is what it is. The dude didn't have his glasses on. What am I doing? Right. So that was a crazy one I had last week. That'll go in the files. I've got the player files, and then I've got the.
You got coach files? Crazy things you hear from coaches as well?
No, but I've got this other set of files. I'm not going to tell you what the name of it is, but that's parental conversations that I've had over the years. That goes in that file. And that's a fun file. That's a fun file that you get to go back to from time to time and read some excerpts from it, and then, there's some good stuff in there, man. That's some good stuff. When I write my book down the road, I might add a little bit of that in there. That might be some fun in there.
All right, Coach Brew, it's about that time. We're 5-0. We're 1-0 in district. Got a big game against Liberty this week.
Yep.
To recap, big game, big win over Scotlandville. Next year, we've almost got the schedule set.
Yep.
After last week's discussion of Santa Monica, they're on the schedule. Anybody else you want to put on the schedule this week while we're
Right. Nope.
close this out,
I
Coach?
don't know. I got one more call to make to my boy Jason Tucker down there in the parish. We're going to try to get that taken care of. But there is one thing I want to say before we close out. So the last two players I think we've had up here have talked about that Dutchtown game. The one where we had lightning and rain and it had us over 2 days. Obviously, winning that game to send us to the state championship game is pretty special. But I'm going to tell you my favorite part about that whole game. I'm going to tell you about 20 seconds, and I'm going to tell you real quick. When I met with the team that night, and the coaches and trainers and everybody, everybody was in the weight room. And we hadn't played particularly well. And I was prepared to say a few things before I sent them home. And one of our seniors, he raised his hand, and I said, "Yep, what you got?" He goes, "Coach, look, we know we didn't play well. We know we didn't do the things we were supposed to do, game plan wise, whatever. But we also know that you guys are going to fix it. So, whatever time we're coming in the morning, we're going to get here. Y'all tell us how to fix it, and we'll fix it. We're going to the Superdome next week." And I mean, at that point, as a head coach, you say nothing, right? You say nothing. I've been speechless twice in my career at Zachary. That was one of them. And the other one was when that sophomore offensive lineman told me in 2015 at halftime, we're about to boil these dudes out because they can't play with us anymore. And that was it. I didn't say another word after that. I sent those guys home. They came back the next day ready to go against Dutchtown and got that win. So that was a pretty awesome night. As far as this week is concerned, I know we didn't play particularly great last week, so I want to thank everybody that was there and continue to stay there all the way to the end of the game, supporting our boys. I promise you this week we're going to put a better product on the field. It's homecoming week in Z-Town. It's going to be a lot of fun. You got the parade on Friday. You got the pep rally on Friday. The weather's supposed to be beautiful. Come on out. We're going to have a lot of fun. Homecoming game against Liberty. Really good football team. Should have some good competition. Should be an enjoyable game to watch. I appreciate your support as always. Thank you for coming out tonight. Go Broncos.